All right, everybody, what's up? This is Unilateral Everything, episode 5. Finishing up week 4, so third week of no squatting, getting used to the whole routine of not doing that. Last week I talked about a little bit nutrition and getting my weight up, which is something that I've been trying to do. Seeming to go okay. I definitely am not as lean as I was when I was right around say 86, 87 kilos, right around at the moment, probably right around 88, 89. Seeing a little bit of improvement there. And then a little bit on the weight side, was able to get back up to my original weights for my single leg deadlifts this week. Back up to, I think, 185 pounds is the most I've been able to pull off. It's a really weird sensation. You know, deadlifts tend to be a posterior chain exercise, and I feel it a lot in my hip flexors. I think it's just stabilizing the hip, especially with a weird angle with the foot straight out behind. So that's something a little new, something that has been going on. So I at least got one day where I was able to hit some heavier weight than what I had been hitting for that movement. Reverse lunges, things like that, felt really good. The actual Olympic lifts themselves have felt pretty good. Nothing, obviously, because I'm not super focused on those right now and just trying to balance things out and gain some leg strength. My main priority has been there. So that's kind of where the program itself is at. I will not lie, I am feeling really beat up right now. I wouldn't say that I am enjoying this week. I'm definitely beat up, definitely feeling it. At the end of today's session, so today was the last session I did, I kind of crammed everything into 5 straight days of training. Normally I use a 6-day training week to plan everything out into, so I'd have a rest day on Wednesday and a rest day on Friday. I'm taking the day off of work tomorrow, so in order to avoid going in at all to go train, decided to do tomorrow's work, and I scheduled it for today. So that was a little bit interesting. Switched my power day, which normally had been my Saturday. I switched it to Thursday, and then put my heavier lifts today, my pause snatches, my regular clean and jerks, put them today to try that out. Also a little interesting because I did physical therapy this morning, so I had some dry needling done, so then I can come in and hit 80% on a clean and jerk. Was a little rough, but got through it. So today was a little bit of a grinder, a little bit of a mental push to get all those things done and kind of, I guess, survive that training session. So that's kind of where the program itself is at. The nice thing is, what I've been noticing is getting what we call max contraction. I touched on it briefly last week. That's kind of what I want to talk about this week, because it's something that in the past probably week and a half or so I've really noticed that I can actually get what's called a maximal contraction in my right quad. Due to the back injury that kind of stirred this whole idea in my mind, at one point I couldn't get my VMO to contract all the way. So if you really straighten and extend your knee out as much as possible and feel that teardrop muscle right there on the inside of your knee, a lot of times it gets really, really hard. For me, just pressing on it with my finger was enough stimulus to cause it to relax. And so what we've been focusing on with my physical therapist was getting a maximal contraction. So to squat heavy weights, to pull heavy weights, especially with the Olympic lifts, to have that balance. The signal from the brain that connects to the muscles is such a big stimulus that it causes the muscle fibers, or as many muscle fibers as possible, to contract to create that amount of force and power. And for me, it was getting to my right leg but not my left, or my left leg but not my right. So there, somewhere there in my lumbar spine, that was locked up, and what they've kind of been working on a little bit, as well as kind of regrowing that connection to my quad. We've been working on getting that contraction. So in physical therapy itself, done a lot of isometric work, maximal holds, definitely a lot of static positions. So been doing that in PT. One of the things that actually has helped a lot is that reverse lunge and the split squat, just regular split squat. And doing those movements have gotten me to actually be able to feel my VMO, which is something that I hadn't felt in a while. Like I can extend my knee now and actually feel it cramping up, which is kind of that whole process of maximal contraction, at least the way I feel it. So that's kind of where we're at. That's kind of the goal of this, is to get back to that, actually noticing a little bit of hypertrophy in that VMO. So that's a good thing, and really excited about that. Definitely excited about next week's deload, because it'll be the last week of the single leg deadlifts. I'll be subbing those out for front rack Bulgarian split squats coming up in the second block. So that'll be really interesting to see. Still determining what I want to do on the technical side with the lifts. Probably gonna be doing some no foot movement snatches and cleans, possibly with no hook grip as well. We'll see. Kind of figuring that all out. So that's kind of where we're at. That's a little update. So for those of you that have been following along, it seems like you can at least get stronger. And obviously the Olympic lifts are something technical, but I'm not losing strength in those lifts by not squatting. So that's something that's really cool. Something I'm looking forward to exploring a little bit more. So if you've been following along, thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your week. We'll be doing an update at the end of deload to talk a little bit more about programming and how I'm going to be targeting some of my weaknesses in the Olympic lifts next week. So until next time, have a great week.